I not hearing anything? What's going on?
You must not be. I'm hearing it.
I don't hear any music, dude.
Oh,
Kind of messed me up, dude. It messed up my flow, too. Like I was like, "What's going on?"
I mean, you can
I think that one.
I can hear the music.
I hear it just fine. I think that's God coming down on you in some.
What did I do, bro? Like,
I don't know. I don't know.
God?
I was gonna
That's
say
crazy.
I don't know, but they took that from you. I was gonna say I didn't see you watching around like
that was my
normal.
one bit of happiness. You know what I mean? The thing that gets me pumped. I literally, and right before we started, I was like, "Let me hear the theme song so I can get pumped up." And I there was a routine that I didn't hear it, dude. What's going on, man?
I don't know what that is. You got to get check on your end.
Yeah, it's got to be on your end. I just checked my settings; they look fine.
What is going on, man?
Steve,
That's
Steve
crazy.
sure as hell ain't gonna say it's on his.
I
Welcome
tried
in, baby.
for the show, just in case.
Hey, Final Four is set. Nightly Fix. Please like, subscribe. Foolish Club Media, YouTube. Like and subscribe. Please subscribe as we need you there. But Final Four is set. I was really doing well. I picked the entire Elite Eight on my bracket, and I'm not one that fills out. I mean, I fill out different. I'm in different pools, but I have the same bracket all the way through. I know some other people have different different brackets, but pick the whole Final Four. Elite Eight. I got 2 out of 4 on the Final Four, all number 1 seeds. And Serda, do you remember the last time that happened? Probably not, right?
2008.
There you go, Steve. There you go, Steve. And my Kansas Jayhawks won the championship that year. But that's the last. And this is only the second time we've had all the number 1 seeds make it. And that includes Duke. And that includes Cooper Flag. Also, U of H. I know, Osita, you're excited about that.
My boys.
My boys.
I need my boys. I need my boys to take down Cooper Flag so I can win my first bracket, dog. That's
There
what I
you go.
want. That's what I want.
I
I got all the Final Four right too. What's up?
You got the whole Final Four. You picked all
Yes,
the.
sir, I
You
did.
picked all the 1 seeds. Yeah,
Yes, sir. Nah, man. I mean, I did it as for my vibe. You know what I mean? I was just like, okay, I feel like Florida is good. I got Florida and U of H at the final.
I do too.
My homeboy saying Auburn is going to kill it, but I don't know. Cam is
I got Florida and Houston. I got Florida winning. Now Duke does look really good. I will say that. Duke does look really good. Cooper Flag has looked really good. I will say this though. I know if you remember one of the first things and conversations we had about Cooper, the American flag was, my man Coop's got a shot, baby. Over the next couple of weeks, it could be big for the NBA. It could be big for Cooper. It could be big for college basketball if he became the star of these couple of weeks. And he could be like, if he can get in there and get the hearts like Caitlin did and Angel Reese, but really Caitlin. And this could really set him and the NBA up for another big star that people know. And I got to be honest, this Cooper Flag thing ain't happening.
He's not the American hero that you wanted him to be.
I'm not saying he's not. I just clearly he's just not giving the impact. I don't know if he's just not, if he doesn't connect. Clearly he doesn't connect in the same way. Obviously he doesn't have the complete same thing. He doesn't have a foil of a bunch of black players like Caitlin did with South Carolina and LSU. He doesn't have an Angel Reese. But even with that, Caitlin was still connecting, and Caitlin was still like, wow, this girl is putting up doing crazy stuff for something. Like there was a buzz around her before South Carolina and that upset. Cooper is I just don't think he connects. Like, I think he's played well. His team has been the most dominated team. He had 30 points and 6 assists and 7 rebounds and 3 blocks the other night. He had a good solid game against Alabama to get to the Final Four. But the crazy thing is, to me, the biggest story of March Madness is not Cooper Flag. and he's done what he's needed to do. The biggest story of March Madness is Juju Watkins going down. To me,
It's a sad story, but yeah,
maybe,
I'd agree.
but the biggest thing, even Paige Becker's just really big. Paige Becker, she goes for 40.
Oh, yeah, she went 40. Yeah,
the other
my
night.
girl.
Yep. Now she's your girl. She went for
She's my
40
girl.
the other night.
Yeah.
And now that was the matchup we were supposed to see. That would have been huge on Monday. USC is there, but obviously Juju's not. I don't know. Maybe she'll try to come and play on that ACL. That would be amazing if she.
You're tripping, sir.
If she came out there, with that huge rap like that stripper did that I ran into in Nashville instead of at Christmas, she came out. But that would be huge. But Cooper does not connect right now. At least he is not connecting to the American. I don't know what it is. I think it's hard for him to do so because he plays for Duke. And so there is never going to be the underground thing. And that's the underdog thing. And that's a fight. Like people naturally hate players who play for Duke. It's just hard. So that part is hard to overcome. And he kind of does have that white boy punchable face that falls in line with the JJ Redick's and his coach, the John Shires. Like some of the great Christian Leitners. I'm
surprised you're not blaming the New Balances, man.
Well, the New Balance is obviously a deadly mistake. I mean, that was pathetic of a bad choice. But that's what I'm saying. They are pushing. There's commercials of him all the time. They're trying to push him, but he's just another player.
But I also feel like one, it's kind of been like the chalk March Madness that everybody was saying it was going to be. People who follow college basketball much more closely than I do. Like that was kind of the narrative coming into this tournament. And then, yeah, I think it's exactly what it is. It's like with Caitlin Clark, there was so many more people who could be exposed to her and what she was doing at the collegiate level that there was so much room for growth and people to like jump on the bandwagon. Whereas like Duke, it's like, if you're a college football or a college basketball fan, like, Duke, Cooper Flag, like how much more impact across the country is he really going to raise? And then, yes, it is the Duke thing where they just have players that college basketball fans just tend to hate. The JJ Redick's, what's his face? Ted Cruz looking kid from
Ted Cruz. There's somebody look like Ted Cruz.
I want to see that picture, dog.
Who are you talking about? Who in the hell are you talking about?
Duke. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
But I'm sorry. He looks like Ted Cruz.
Look it up.
I know. I'm sure there is this. I can't wait to hear this person, and I'll be like, oh damn, you're right. He does look like Ted Cruz. I don't know.
Grayson Allen.
He does have a punchable face.
You've never heard someone compare Grayson Allen to?
I haven't.
Cruz?
I guess I can see it. I guess I can see it. I've never heard it. I've never heard. That's the first I've heard it.
He looks just like Ted Cruz, bro.
He doesn't.
Crazy.
I thought. I couldn't remember his
He
name.
does.
I couldn't pull his name right away, and I was like, "Ron, I know exactly who I'm talking."
That is not it. People in the chat. People in the chat. Have you heard that Grayson Allen is a lookalike for Ted Cruz? And do you agree with it?
100%.
They got pictures of it. I mean, this resemblance is uncanny. That's crazy.
Like that was a whole thing when he was in college. Like I remember it specifically.
I don't remember that. And I've never thought of it. Let me see if there's a side by side.
There's definitely a side by side. I'm looking at it right now. Doppelgangers, Grayson Allen, NBC Sports.
It's not bad. Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I got one. I got to pull it real fast.
No, I see it. That does look like Ted at 21. That does. Grayson Allen's also having an awful night tonight, by the way. For the Suns. As the Suns are getting their asses handed to him. But no, I mean, I listen, I didn't have that one, but There you go. Good. But he is a punchable face. Grayson Allen most definitely fits that. You tell me this. If I am doing too much with this, if this is too early. I don't think that Cooper Flagg is ever going to be a big star. Good God, it is good. That's pretty good.
That's side by side. They look exactly the same.
I never had it, man.
That's wild.
Only thing is saving Grayson is that front comb. That front comb over.
Bro, no, but if you look at his picture on the Phoenix Suns, which is what I'm looking at on Google right now, he's got gray hair on the side, just like Ted Cruz. He doesn't have the front comb over anymore. He's not like he was at Duke, man.
I don't know
now that
how
he's
I
a little
did
bit weathered from his NBA career.
Yeah,
he's really growing into his Ted Cruz.
I don't know if I've never seen that, or I don't know how I missed it. But
that's unbelievable because I thought you would know it as soon as I said it, and I was like, Rod will pull his name.
I was gonna start rattling off punchable face guys from Duke, but then you said Ted Cruz, and I couldn't pinpoint it, and I never heard that. That's not bad. That does look like Ted at 21. That does. But my piece with Cooper Flagg. Now you tell me if you think I'm being unfair. I don't think he's ever going to be a big star. I'm not saying he's not going to be a really good basketball player. I could see that in the NBA, but I don't think he is going to connect. And maybe it's a little early because I do think there is still a chance that, if he plays well enough and he goes to the right spot, that, because there's not a lot of really good white American basketball players, that there could be something that resonates. But man, this ain't just in sports, in anything. Usually, not always, there's some exceptions, I'm sure, but usually a star, you can see the connection of whatever audience he or she is playing towards, or they are playing towards. You generally can see that quickly. You can see the connection quickly. Like there was just something about Carmelo in his 1 year where there was connection and there was a star quality. There was something about Zion, who I think is the last college guy that I think really connected. There's just something about guys. And Cooper, I think they're really pushing it and forcing, but I think we can already see now that this is somebody that it's just like it. He's just not somebody that people are like, God, I gotta see. And I think that kind of stuff early.
Well, I'm glad you kind of changed your tone about the man, because I feel like last week it was just like Cooper Flagg, Cooper the American flag, Cooper the American dream flag.
I could see it. I could see it.
Cooper Flagg. And now you're just kind of like, I mean, look, man, I mean, he's putting up solid points and he's doing what he needs to do as far as being a basketball player and everything like that. But whether or not the American people, whether or not basketball lovers are actually going to connect with him and stuff like that, sometimes you got to have a little bit of swag, and he seems like a swagless kid, man. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well,
like, there was something about Caitlin that I remember when I first saw her playing in the NCAA. I was just like, yo, although she has this like Midwestern charm and stuff like that, like she moved like a hooper. You know what I mean? It felt rare to see like a little white girl move like Stephen Curry. You know what I mean? Like it just felt weird. You know what I mean? So that, I think that's kind of what brought people that I remember watching those games with into her kind of world and stuff. And then obviously there was, the drama of everything, the black versus white, blah blah blah.
Yeah, that enhanced it and took it up a notch. But to your point is, there was something about her.
Yeah, she moved like a hooper. Like she moved like just like a basketball player, like somebody that you see walk into the YMCA. You know what I mean? Wearing slides and basketball shorts and walking down the side of the road.
But I think it's even deeper because Serda will know maybe a little bit more than you do, Osita. Like, you know how I feel about Diana, but Diana Taurasi kind of has that. Like, I'm just talking about like as a hooper. Candace Parker, who was dunking at Tennessee, she had that. She looked like, you remember when she came out, Serda? It was like, oh boy, there was buzz around her. She looks like she could. None of them compared to the buzz of Caitlin.
Yeah,
and I do think, and I like I said, but I'm saying even Kelsey Plum. But Kelsey Plum was doing her thing at Washington, nowhere near this level. None of them reached what Caitlin was, because I think it's just something about her. And I think it's very much like Zion, Carmelo, who I'm talking about. There's something about them that drew people, that made people want to. And like you said, Osita, I was saying all that stuff because it was set up for him. He's at Duke. He's there's the great white hope of the sport. Like, this dude he has been like the player of the year. Like, his basketball talent has actually lived up to the hype of things. He's on commercials all over the place. They're doing everything they can, but I just don't think he connects. As I said, Juju is the biggest thing, in my mind, is the biggest thing that has happened in March Madness.
Now, question: do you think that if she hadn't gotten hurt, we'd still be hearing a lot from Juju? Like, would she still be the biggest thing over Cooper Flag?
This matchup tomorrow would be the biggest, the most anticipated game, men or women's side. USC
Versus
and
UConn.
Juju versus UConn and Paige Beckers. It would have been more anticipated than any men's game. One, we know them.
Mm-hmm.
We know them. There's a foil. They played earlier this year and had a great game that USC won at the end. Like, that would be the biggest and most anticipated game. And I don't know. I just think we would know. There's just something that is missing from him.
Yeah, I just think it's all the things that we've already said, but I think Caitlin Clark too. It's like that. It's like her just grabbing the attention of the Midwest too, like in a way that like
that white America crowd.
Yeah. Like I think it's that, and I think it is the Steph comparisons, because like, yes, Diana Taurasi is all-time great women's basketball player, was incredible in college, but like Caitlin was just drawing crowds in a way that we had never seen anybody before in women's collegiate sports, and it was because she was just doing that at Iowa, and to the point where she was drawing TV viewership too. It wasn't just people going to games, and then she's just out there lighting it up night after night and drilling these threes from way deep, and like just like looking like this unstoppable player. And because I feel like a lot of people have always like tried to talk down on the women's game because it's like, oh, it's not as athletic or physical or whatever as the men's game, which like I would argue like they're pretty damn physical. But
hey, hold on, let's just be honest. Until recently, man, the women's game wasn't nearly as entertaining of a watch as it has been in the last 5-10 years.
Sure, but there's always been shooters in the women's game. There just hadn't been a shooter like her,
or can handle like everything that Osita's saying. Yeah, it's just, but that's what I'm saying though, is Cooper Flag fits everything that you would generally. It's just crazy what connects with people and what doesn't. Cooper Flag fits just about everything. Like, why did Tiger connect with, like, what would, like, think about it. What was it that connected Tiger Woods?
I mean, I would say that if you're looking from the examples that you're giving us, right? Tiger Woods, Caitlin Clark, right? You're looking, from my point of view, as somebody who doesn't really watch sports like that, but you're looking at like a juxtaposition. You're looking at people that are looking good in a space that isn't necessarily where they would look good in. You're seeing a half black, half, what is he, Taiwanese or something like that?
That's something. That's a description.
Golfer, but in an all white space, and so you're just like, damn, he's looking nice. You're seeing this white girl, and I keep saying the Midwest thing because she doesn't look like she's a hooper, bro. Like, she does not look like she's a hooper until she's on that court, and once she gets on that court, you realize, oh, she's not to be played with. And it's cool to see this little, I keep saying, homely, girl next door type, all of a sudden shooting buckets. Like, even old girl Paige dropping 40 tonight. That was wild, bro. They just kept dishing it to her, or dropping 40 the other night. Like, she was killing it. And you really don't see those types of people. I mean, this sounds so bad. You really don't see little white girls hooping like that, man. I'm just going to be honest. Like, and so when you see it, it's something cool to see. Like,
well, I think you hit on it, right? Like, because I'm thinking like Serena and Venus and Tiger these are athletes. Let's stick with the athletes that are unusual in their setting.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's black tennis stars, the way that they looked, not just their skin color, but also the way they looked in a space, they were so unique. Their power was so unique. Tiger, the same thing. And greatness, right? Greatness with uniqueness for where they are in their sport. Caitlin, too, as you talked about, her game was very unique, and she seemed to be very unique in a sport that is generally not dominated by somebody that looks like her.
And I think that kind of goes back to what you were saying about Duke, though. Like, we're kind of used to seeing cold white boys from Duke. You know what I mean? Like, it's been seen before. Like, it's nothing new. So when there's another really good kid from Duke, where it's like, okay, it happened again.
Yeah, but we haven't seen. But I still think he fits it, though, because I do think he is unique. Like, we've seen good players from Duke. We haven't seen a white guy from Duke be the absolute best player in the sport since Christian Laettner in '92. Like, we've not seen. Even Christian Laettner was not thought of to be the best talent, right? Like, they know it's crafty and everything. Shaq still went number one in that draft, right? Like, Christian Laettner went lower down. Cooper Flagg is a 6'9" white kid that can go and move like any of the other players that are high flyers, anybody else in the league that you would think of. And I think that is unique to the game of basketball today, that the white guy is the absolute, not just crafty, but best talent, best player in the game, right?
Is it though? I mean, look at. I mean, in the game, in the whole overall game, on the team,
in college basketball.
Yeah,
the last time in college basketball that a white guy was clearly the best and most talented player was when. Not just he's a Tyler Hansborough, who was a National Player of the Year, but Lord knows no one looked at Tyler and thought about that guy's going to play great in the NBA. People look at him as he has been the consensus number one pick for 2 years when he was going to come out. But we've watched him do in Anthony Davis as a 17-year-old. We've that is unique right now to the game of basketball, right? Maybe we've seen Luka grow into this, and Jokic, guys from Serbia and Lithuania.
See, that's another thing, though. You were saying to the game of basketball. If you want to make a distinction between the game of basketball and college basketball, like the overall arcing game of basketball, we have seen this with Jokic and Luka. We've seen these guys, and yes, they are Serbian, yes, they're European or whatever, but we're still seeing these really cold, tall white dudes. You know what I mean? It's been seen, especially this year.
But even his game is more unique than theirs. Like, Serda, Jokic and Luka are two of the most least athletic people in the league. Not just for great players, least athletic. This dude has like grade A elite athleticism. Like in a game that like he doesn't look like them.
But I really just think it's as simple as like people around the country like don't root for Duke. Like you're either a Duke fan or you don't like Duke. Like I don't think that guy can be someone who plays for Duke. Like if he was playing for another team, maybe we could have that conversation. But when it's Duke, if you're a college sports fan, you're either a Duke fan or you don't like Duke. Like
let me ask you this, Serda. Let me ask you this, Serda. Were you drawn to Zion while he was at Duke?
Of course. He was a freak.
Like you were drawn to Zion. You're drawn to Zion in a way you weren't drawn. Like you're not drawn to Cooper.
I don't hate Duke, but it's because I'm impartial to all of it.
But I'm asking you, Serda, you're not drawn to Cooper Flag at Duke the same way you were drawn to Zion at Duke, right?
No, because Zion was built like something I hadn't seen like since like Shaq. Like, and I was like, this dude's athleticism is absolutely insane. Like Cooper Flag, very good player, gonna be the lock number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft, but he also looks like lots of dudes that I've seen before playing.
His especially white dudes, his build, his move, his ability his leaping ability, his athleticism. I don't know if it's like that, like from other guys. I think he is, especially for, you hate to make it a race, like the race thing, but that's there. It's just like with Caitlin. It wasn't just that, damn, Caitlin looks like Steph Curry out here. It's like, damn, this white girl is the one who looks like Steph Curry out here. This girl in this long-ass ponytail is the one that's doing stuff that other girls couldn't do. And I just think Cooper has a lot of that, but you can't force all of it. Just like in music or in acting or in film, as you would call it, Serda. By the way, I just want to say, before we did the show, watched the first episode of Righteous Gemstones, and I've heard a lot of different things about it. And I've heard the comparisons to Atlanta and the weird season in which like every other episode didn't have anything to do with the cast and it was just standalone. This one, spoiler alert, has Bradley Cooper in it as the star of it. I thought it was great. Some people said it was, the first episode was weird. And Serda, you were like, I thought it was great, but I like a lot of Righteous Gemstone. I thought it was one of the best episodes they've ever done.
It's also clearly going to have tie-ins to the season because as you go forward, there's been a few like small references and stuff.
Okay, yeah. I only watched that first episode. I haven't gotten to see Baby Billy and everybody else yet.
We still don't have any idea what the episode necessarily means. Have questions about all of that, but
it was not weird. It was not weird. It was really, really good.
No, and that's Danny McBride and that team of people having the space now because they've been successful for a long time, have made lots of really good things. They can just do things like that. They can surprise fans with the season opener of their final season of a popular show and have it be about absolutely no one that they've ever seen before, but it works because Bradley Cooper is the face of the episode.
I did not know that Danny McBride had that in him.
Oh, I think he's shown this in Righteous Gemstones. A lot of people didn't like Vice Principals because it was coming off of Eastbound and Down, and it was crazy dark. Like it was a very like dark black humor kind of show, and I loved Vice Principals. I thought it was incredibly creative, and I think a lot of people didn't get it. And Righteous Gemstones has kind of, I think, done a good job of marrying the Eastbound and Down with the Vice Principals. And
I'm talking
both worlds.
Now I haven't seen those two shows, but I would imagine like Danny McBride stuff. Everything I've seen, even out of Righteous Gemstone, there's some silliness to it. Like there's some, that type of humor to it. This right here, I would have never expected that it came from Danny McBride. Like he's never to me shown anything like there's like, tell me if I might be wrong, sort of, without giving it away to people, but I don't remember any of like the over the top silliness at all in that episode. Like I thought it was just really, really good. I don't even know how much I laughed.
It wasn't really funny. Like it was a pretty serious, straightforward, like standalone story. Like there really wasn't that much to laugh about. There might have been a couple of like quick one-liners and jokes. Like I think there was like kind of when because he's impersonating a priest or whatever without giving out.
Let's not completely give this
away. Yeah, don't spoil it, guys. Don't. I haven't watched it yet. Come on.
I've tried. I didn't. I did not. He's going.
I mean, we're 4 weeks into this.
That doesn't mean anything.
Shit. What are you talking about? I haven't even watched the show yet. I was planning on doing a deep dive on Righteous Gemstones this week, man. Come on
you can't.
No, baby. But okay, fine.
It's crazy.
But
all you had to say was there's some one-liners. That's all you had to say. Yeah. It was really, really good. I was just based off what I was hearing, I was expecting to feel like Atlanta, and I guess I did, because watching those episodes from Atlanta from that season, it wasn't like those standalones weren't good. Like my favorite episode is when the white kid went back and started he went to the black church or whatever. And then he brought
for the nanny.
Yeah, the nanny.
Oh yeah, walk on.
That was good. But I was just left from the season like, what the hell was this? But no, it was really good. I gotta give him that. Righteous Gemstone.
Loki. That was also Chet Hanks. The at the funeral, the white guy that was like older that she also raised. That was Tom Hanks' son. Just so y'all know. That was about Chet Hanks. He's an interesting character.
This is different from his other son that we know a lot.
Chet Hanks is. Oh no, yeah, he does have another son. The actor
Colin Hanks is.
Colin Hanks is the other one. That's the one I know more of.
Chet Hanks wants to be a rapper.
Chet, I had to look up Chet Hanks.
Look it up real quick. Look it up if you haven't. He's a wild boy.
I'll just say no. It was good, man. OC, to do a deep dive, I'm probably gonna watch episode 2. I'd rather get back to, seeing, the craziness and Baby Billy's dick more. But it's a good show. Good. I really do wish. Like I have all of the mannerisms and the cool. I just don't know how to play the instruments. I can look like I know how to play an organ or a keyboard. But I was banging it out. I just don't know how to do it. But I
Just got to
the
slide
look.
into the note to say,
I gotta look. I gotta look.
like,
I've been
you
watching
know.
dudes on the organ at church my whole life, so I got the look. Shout out to Billy at Zion Grove. I got the look.
Shout out to Billy at Zion Grove.
Zion
Master
Grove,
organist. Yeah.
I got the look, but I don't know how to do it. All right, I do want to get to the heat check, first one of the week. Do want to get to the heat check here in a little bit, but it's been a real like I feel like everybody's on edge in the NBA right now. I mean, we got LeBron and Stephen A. We got everybody reacting to those two. Dylan Brooks got himself thrown out of the Rockets Suns game today because the official, I think, was a little bit on edge. And then
playing hard.
Nick Richards was on edge, and he got himself ejected. But damn it, of all places to have a fight spill out into the crowd a little bit in damn Detroit. After they have the Malice in the Palace with Ron Artest and Steven Jackson was throwing Tay DiVincenzo. Somebody I have known for a long time. Shout out to my man, Bomani Jones, who first coined it. As you can look at it, you don't find a lot of white Dantes. And damn it, if you go look at him and listen to him talk, and by the way, look at his haircut, you know he is one of those white Dantes.
Not to be messed with, bro. Not
to
be messed with at all.
That is that kind of guy. And clearly, I believe there for the Pistons. He's the one that tried to fight LeBron. He's the one, he's the crazy one. He's the one that got ejected against the Pacers and then went to the bench and started holding up pistols and shooting it towards the Pacers bench, and then got himself ejected and fined. That's who we're dealing with old Isaiah, number 28. So he is looking for this. By the way, he was ejected. The head coach was ejected. But this all stemmed because I believe Dante, a.k.a. White Dante, was having a bad day. I don't know what happened with Dante, but this was all clearly White Dante is over it. I don't know if he's pissed off that Villanova is hiring another coach in 3 years, if he's still pissed off that he got traded away from New York with all his Villanova friends and Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and all them cats over there. I don't know. I don't know what he's pissed about, but clearly White Dante walked in Sunday night on some other shit, and it just showed up.
I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe Dante is from Delaware. He's like one of the only players of the NBA who was like born in Delaware. But he has always been that dude. Like, he was that dude in college. He was absolutely sick coming off the bench at Villanova, and that team was just stacked. But Dante was like, he was like the sixth man at Villanova, but Dante would have been a starter on any other team in the country. That team was just so deep, and he would come in and just like light it up and be like a spark for them, to the point that it got him drafted. And I feel like he's always been that guy. He's that guy in every locker room where everybody is like, even if you got other crazy guys, I feel like a lot of people are just like, yeah, just be cool to Dante. Like,
don't get him all riled up. You know what I mean? Like,
no, man, Dante not just white Dante. First off, why do you know Dante's from Wilmington, Delaware? How did you have that? What is wrong with you tonight?
I remember weird things sometimes. I just remembered that he was from Delaware.
Yeah, he gotta be getting that close to that Pennsylvania part of Delaware. Maybe he's getting close. But no, man, he like this whole thing. He is the linchpin. He is all of it. It's all of it. Every time I run back and watch it, it is clearly him. And then when he got up and walked back towards the bench,
like everything was cool.
Doing that to the crowd. Like, what are you talking about, man? Everybody just trying to enjoy their Sunday, get this shit over with, play games, maybe go get something to eat, maybe find a young lady, to hang out with, maybe, watch a little White Lotus. Like, everybody just trying to chill tonight. No, you want some other stuff.
Yeah, you could see Dante was definitely on that type of time. Like as soon as he throws the boy down, and then I mean, but he immediately got treated though. Like there's nothing goes unanswered. You know what I mean? He immediately got dog piled on and punched on. He got hit in the neck and stuff like that. Like I mean, but it's always the crazy white boy, man. It's always the
Seven
crazy white boy.
ejections. Yeah, but
So-
Dante.
Woo!
I
Seven
wonder. I wonder if Dante. I don't know if Dante sees himself as white.
The last name like DiVincenzo?
No, I know what his name is. I know what he sees in the mirror. But I
don't think. Yeah, that's probably not how Dante lives his life.
that's not how Dante lives his life. Yeah, I just don't know what Dante sees himself. Come on, man. Let's get it. Let's get a little heat check in here.
All right, guys. So for tonight's heat check, I'm going to tell a quick little story. So, the other night I was perusing Instagram and the internet like we all do late night when we can't sleep. And I saw this little infographic that said that Irishmen are now microdosing Viagra. They are microdosing Viagra in order to feel, how should we say, well prepared for the day, for the work day, for the rest day, for just any day. So instead of taking the whole pill, you just take a little niblet off and maybe scrape some in your salad, put some in your coffee. And for the rest of the day, you feel like $1 million, Their explanation was that it adds like a sort of just extra preparedness to life, that you never really know when you're going to get into the situation, but you know that you're always going to have you're always going to be covered. So I see this infographic. I decide to share it with a couple of my friends, and I decided to tell them, I was just like, hey, it's crazy that they're out there doing this. Meanwhile, when I was like 12 years old, if I had an erection and I had to stand up, I was freaking the fuck out. These guys are just fucking walking around full chub all day. So
Are they saying that? Are they saying that they're full chub, or is this?
They're saying that they're full chub. They're saying that they're ready to go all day. Not necessarily hard, but just there.
So this is just old men then, right?
Something like that. So okay, check it out. So I sent this to one of my friends, and I'm not going to name any names because he wants his anonymity. I sent this to my friend, and he says that.
Pussy.
No, he says that him and another friend of ours in our friend group have been doing that for years. That on their off days, they'll just take a little niblet of some Blue Chew and, just kind of go into the day prepared. So I was just like, hey, explain this to me. You know what I mean? Like I'm not averse to juicing. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But like, if you're going to do it on your day off when you don't have anything planned, what's the point? And he was just like, well, it just feels, good, like knowing that if my girl ever wants it, like I don't have to run around trying to find a pill or anything like that, and just like knowing that it's there. And I was like, okay. So mind you, we're having this conversation, and I guess he decides, I just saw the infographic and decided to send it out real quick. He decides to read the actual not the comments, but the like what it says on the bottom of the actual picture, and there's like this whole little article with it, right? He finds out that it's complete satire, that it's completely a bullshit article. And I guess that he decided to overshare with me that day. He decided to take, some Blue Chew. So I want to know, like, my friends are normal people. I'm probably the craziest one out of them. Is that something that people would be averse to doing? Is it weird? Because they seem pretty normal. They hold normal jobs, oil and gas, just chilling, hanging out.
I don't think it's weird.
It's right. It doesn't feel.
I don't
need
weird to do it, but I understand why people. And I have had friends in the past who are really into it. Like they like taking it. They're like, you last super long. You can just have like amazing sex. I've never had that issue. I'm not at that point in my life, thankfully. But I don't think it's that weird. Like I'm not.
On your off day.
You're like you're gonna try to get into it. Like you're gonna try to go out and meet somebody.
That's not what he said. What he said, one is just every day, off days, and just nibbles. just to tease their dicks, just to tease it a little bit, just little nibbles of it, just to pop. No, I think that's strange. I think that is like I just wonder how you arrive to it. Like, hey man, I'm not getting nothing in, but I just want to take a little bite of it. Like it feels like you're addicted. Like it feels like it's become a drug or something. Like,
Hey,
like
look,
it's
man,
not. It's no longer PRN when needed. It is. I gotta have a little piece of this bad boy every day. So what do they do when they know they're going? They're
popping the
popping it up.
whole thing.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I mean, I found it a little strange, but I don't like to judge. You know, I don't want to judge, but I did feel like I was just kind of like I said, 12-year-old me walking around with an erection. I was fucking terrified. You know what I mean? Like 34-year-old me walking around with an erection.
I don't
Out,
I don't know that I will never feel weird if I have one jump up on me in times where I'm not trying to be erect.
So at 40, you don't get to that point where you're just kind of like, oh yeah, it still works. We're good.
No, I don't get to a point where I'm like, I want it all. Like, no, I don't like where it's like,
I
hey,
still get that in weird places, and I'm just like, wow, why is this happening right now?
Yeah, but you're not like, yeah, baby.
Yeah,
no.
I'm certainly not like walking around trying to draw attention to it.
Or just walking around with the hope of it. Like that. No, honest to God, that sounds like an addiction. Like it
could be a strange addiction kind of thing.
I need a piece of it.
Yeah.
I need a piece of it.
Yeah.
I need a piece, not the whole thing. I just take like I don't even know how you get to that point. Is like, hey man, I take Viagra and Blue Chew. How about I just take a little bit of it? So I'm semi-hard today.
Just a little bit. A little bit.
It's a strange thing. I mean, I'd like to say I don't judge, but I feel like I'm judging on that because
you're definitely judging. If you're saying
a
that
little
you don't
weird.
judge, you're definitely judging right now, bro.
Yeah, it's a little strange. I think you are too. I think you had an odd look for him.
It was there were definitely some questions asked, some follow-up questions. Why, how much, when, but again, he's one of my closest friends, so I just kind of had to give him some grace.
Serda, are you doing this? I mean, the way that you came off this was like you've tried this before.
I have taken one before, but it wasn't because I needed the help. It was at the recommendation of someone else that like, oh, it's fun. Not like you know, it's not like taking like a real something that like actually like affects your mood or your state of mind or something like that. It just it gets you ramped up for like a long night of passionate lovemaking.
So I've never taken one of those pills, any of those, but I do. I don't
have a problem with it. I'll endorse Blue Chew right now.
Same.
Well, I have
come out, mess with us. You know what I mean?
Shout out to the men's clinic. I do have an endorsement with the men's clinic, and they go right in and allow you to give yourself just a little bit of a little poke. That's how they inject. Like it's not a pill. You just kind of poke it right at the base of your dick.
Oh wow.
Because it goes right into the stream. So you don't have to deal with the side effects or anything like that.
Oh.
And it doesn't hurt at all. But hey, bros, I went because I'm endorsing them, and I went and I always like to try the products.
Of
and
course.
I'm endorsing. And they wanted me to do it too. I went in there and the nurse administered it that time. But I went in.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Didn't make me uncomfortable at all. I was good. But they went in, boom, hit it right, and like I saw it, like I was, and you can control the dosage, right? They didn't give me a big dosage, like it's do you want to have a real good time for a long time, or you just trying to have a little good time, right? and they just wanted me to test it. So they hit me with that bad boy, and I'm telling you, man, 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. They had to give me the reverse antidote because I
Oh
didn't.
shit! Because you had a day that you had shit to do, right?
Yeah, I was going to work. I did it before I did the work.
It just won't go away.
Well, it will. It just will depend on your dose. Like the dose I had was probably going to go away in like 30, 45 minutes. They got a dose. Shout out to the men's clinic. They got a dose. Go ahead, mensclinic.com. They got a dose that can be 2 hours, whatever. You can just hit it right. Bam. It's like, you ever see diabetics? Like hit themselves with their bam. It's just
I'm
like
diabetic.
that.
What are we doing? Yeah, it's a little
Just
poke.
like, bam, bam, real quick.
But I'm poking myself in the stomach, not the base of my dick, dude.
No, it don't. Like it didn't hurt when both times, baby. When she hit me with that first one, and she hit me with that antidote, didn't hurt.
Sheesh.
It hurt. And
like my friend, I'm glad we learned a lot about you today.
But that's nice. But I've only done it once. That's the only time I've ever taken any of those. Right. But I certainly
you did it before work, just like the Irishman.
But I certainly wanted the antidote, so I wouldn't walk it around with that thing just on and popping. Right. And I hung out there for a little bit till she went down.
You just gotta be prepared for every situation.
Yeah, you do. You got to be prepared. And I was. It was great. It felt absolutely amazing. So I mean, I don't look down for people who want to roll with it. I just like if that's your thing. Like I just on my day off, and I just want to walk around semi-hard all the time. That's something that don't as a great David Culley, former head coach of the Houston Texans and wide receiver coach for the Baltimore Ravens and wide receiver coach for the Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs. That time that the Chiefs didn't have a wide receiver score a touchdown all season, he was a wide receiver coach. Like he said, that don't compute with me. All right. I don't know, Dave, you guys see that Morgan Wallen situation with SNL?
Oh yeah, the walk-off.
Yeah.
So do you think because his people have come out and said there wasn't nothing to it? It was the walk-off, and then afterwards he makes the post. Yeah, here it is. Usually, all right, pause it. Wait, because I know both of you watch it a lot. Osita, what is the normal occurrence for our viewers? What is the normal occurrence for the musical act and the guest host to do when they say goodnight?
So for the uninitiated, it is usual that they kind of stick around and, everybody talks and, says, congratulations, great job, great job, great job.
Shake everybody's hand.
Shake everyone's hand, have a good time. Not this time.
This like 50 years they've been doing this?
Yeah, this is
like 50 years they've been doing this. So this was Morgan Wallen as he decided to end his night. And that's the guest host. I have no idea who that young lady is, but
Mikey something.
Mikey.
Sure. Oh yeah. From the
one Oscar for Nora.
Yeah, and the best picture, Nora. Yeah,
she's just not that hot to me, man. I don't get it, but whatever.
Okay, that's not where we are right now.
I'm sorry. Hey,
watch Nora, and I think you'll think differently.
I've seen Nora. I saw Nora.
Yeah, rom-com won it all. But my man walks clean off the front. Like he's not there's Bo and Yang. He didn't get nothing with Kenan Thompson. He didn't get nothing with Michael Che. None of them. He just walked his ass right off.
Not even the side stage, dude. Like straight through the camera. Straight through camera one.
Straight through camera. Like to me, like he's making a statement. And then afterwards, he said, "Get me to God's country." I think he had a post like that.
Well, did you watch the show? You watched the show, right? Okay, so on the show, he did a performance. I literally just watched it right before the show because I didn't have time to watch it last night. But he does a performance, and he said something about like God bless and go Vols.
Go
like
Vols.
That, yeah, like that was his whole thing. He was like, God bless and go Vols. And then you could see his guitar player being like, yeah, good job. You know what I mean? Like I look, man, I don't judge anybody based on religion at all. But I will say that there was a time during COVID that man was supposed to perform on SNL. And what did he do the night before? In the middle of a lockdown, in the middle of everyone, staying in place and everything like that. He's at a college party. He gets caught on TikTok and Instagram making out with, like, swapping spit with all these girls and stuff like that. and they ended up having to cancel his performance that night. And thank God they did, because they put in Jack White, who was obviously amazing, but they ended up having to cancel his performance last minute and replacing him because he was being completely irresponsible. So for him to sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, I got to go back to God's country." Look, man, I'm glad you found God or whatever, but like,
but what do you get? What do you get the sense? So the walk off,
Yeah,
and then that. What do you get the sense he meant?
I think he's just playing to his very specific audience. Like, I think he knows who his audience is, and it's generally not the crowd at SNL, and it's not the performers at SNL. Like, he's a guy who is, I don't listen to his music. I can't even tell you if I've ever heard a single one of his songs, but like, I know he's got a history of like issues. He's been arrested before. I know he's been caught on video being openly racist and saying awful things. Like,
speak on it.
Like, he's got a pretty bad background of not being the greatest guy in the world. And so being on a set like SNL, where you're with some of the most creative, like free thinking minded people like that you could ever imagine, where everything is like a bit and everything is them trying to be creative and then express their creativity through comedy. Probably an uncomfortable situation for someone who sees themselves as a hyper conservative Christian. Like, I just don't think that's his crowd. And he probably only went and did that because it was some favor to some agent or executive or something like that. Like, oh, you got to go play SNL because it gets a lot of eyeballs on whatever new album you're trying to promote or whatever.
It's probably because he got called out in the SNL 50th musical special on the fact that he did get canceled from the show because of his lack of sheltering in place and staying in place and stuff like that, and his irresponsibility a few years ago during COVID. He probably has an agent that's like, "Hey man, this is a bad look. I didn't realize they were going to put that out there. So, you probably should get back on there. If we can get you back on there, will you do it? Yeah, I'll do it." And then secretly is harboring hatred, the entire time, because I bet you it does make him look bad.
But more,
especially if he's trying to have like this clean cut image now. Like, yeah, we don't forget, bro. We got receipts.
But more plainly. So, what do you think his mindset, or not even mindset? What do you think he was saying with what he did? The walk off, go in front of the camera like he did, unusual. Because I'm telling you, his people have come out, because this thing is kind of blown. His people have come out and said, I'm just telling you what they've said, that this is a misunderstanding. There was no message sent with what he did. What message do you think he was trying to send with the walk-off and then the Instagram post of him getting on like the plane him saying back to, like, get me to God's country?
I think he was just trying to say, fuck this show. That was a fuck this show walk-off if I've ever seen it.
Yeah. I think he whether they want to admit it or not, because I'm sure people at NBC didn't appreciate that. Like, SNL's an institution. He did that intentionally. Like, there was absolutely a message being sent to the people that like him, to like the people that follow him and his fan base. And then he makes that post because, like, and SNL doesn't just end when they wrap the show. Like, SNL's legendary for having their after show, like, parties and stuff with the cast and the crew and the celebrities and everything. Like, those after parties are legendary in the entertainment industry. And so he just dipped, and he did it while the cameras were still on, pretty intentionally, in front of anyone that was watching that show live.
I just think it is so interesting, because I believe, and Serda, you went ahead and done it and laid out a lot of his history. Right? And no man is perfect at all. You let out a lot of his history, and based off, like, listen, man, I don't know a complete man and everything about him, but based off the history you laid off, and you tell me if I'm wrong, there was not only not an apology or a retraction of, especially the N-word usage. I mean, it was more, he really stuck his feet even deeper into the ground on it. Like, there was nothing to that. Like, he didn't even have an apology or that. If I'm wrong on that, that's based on my memory of it. But even when you get to that, it is really interesting because I think he really believes it. Like when he leaves there, like God, I'm getting back to God's country. Like I think he, like you know what I mean. I think it's wild how, like there could be that thought process and what he believes, like, and I'm getting back to God, and he's not alone. There's a lot of people on with a lot of different beliefs where you just like, it is wild.
Is Nashville God's country though? Nashville, Tennessee, that's God's country.
I thought everything was God's country. I mean, based on my that's what I'm
baby.
That's what I'm getting to.
He probably just means like whatever farm or whatever he lives on, where it's not.
But no, I do. I would take it as let me leave this like beneath, not even beneath me, but this shit that isn't of God, and go back to my life, which is of God. That's a way that I kind of take it. And
so you think he got freaked out and turned out at SNL or something like that? What's going on?
I don't think he did. I just think in his mind he really believes like these people are bad. These people are what's wrong with it, and I'm gonna go. I think like a lot of there's an example of that with a lot of people. January 6 people, I think in their mind they really like
us versus them mentality.
And I'm telling you, I bet you a lot of those cats would consider themselves devout Christians or of God, but it is just like interesting of like they can sense and separate since those actions are of that. But it's not like I think he sees himself as like, man, I got to get back. Like another one, like a person like where Morgan Wallen, where I really got an understanding was he was performing in Kansas City, and he rolled out there in the Harrison Butker jersey, along with Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, which I wonder about them fellas. But he comes out in the Butker jersey, and that is a symbol of everything that Harrison Butker came out with. And you know all the shit he said, Serda. And you can, if you listen to him, like I don't agree with a damn thing he has said, especially with how he views women, all that. I don't agree with a damn thing Harrison Butker says. But Serda, you know he believes he's of God. Like he believes that stuff's coming from God. Like like he's a devout Christian. And
he's been that since day one. I've been talking about that for years. That college speech that he gave, I was like, oh no, we already knew about that. I've been talking about Harrison Butker's conservative beliefs for a long time. He's gonna try to run for office or something when he's done playing football.
But like when I view what he's saying, I think it's bad shit. Like,
yeah,
crazy and completely against where I am. And I find it very appalling to think this is of God, but they really believe it. Like they really, really believe. You can run down all of the stuff. You can run down.
They believe it when it's convenient for them, like to believe it.
Like, I'm not no, Serda. I think in
Butker maybe not. Butker, I think, is more devout than that, but I think a lot of them, it's a convenience thing, and it's an outward projecting thing.
I think
it's something they choose to lead their life by.
I think a lot of them in their hearts of hearts thinks they're doing right.
Well, no one, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. No one wants to believe that what they're doing is wrong. They're always going to see their point of view as the right action, the right course of action. But it's not for. I wish. I mean, from a professional standpoint, I wish you would have handled that a little bit better. Even if you do have something against the vibe or the climate that's created at SNL, maybe you didn't like what their cold opens have been against the Republicans a lot lately. Even if you don't like that, you still gotta handle yourself accordingly and be professional at the end of the day, because all that's going to do is get you not invited back, you know what I mean, and kind of close your social circle, which I'm sure he's probably okay with. But I mean, still,
like the way I took it, and especially after the comments after and his history, I think he thinks he is a better person than what he was around.
I can see that.
And
I can see him believing
and
that.
I may be off on that, but that's what it came off like. Get me the hell up out of here. I think he feels like he's a better person than what he was around. And then when you think about his history, I think that it's
laughable.
It is. Yes, it is
laughable.
It is interesting to think that I think he deep down believes it. I think he deep down believes that is the case. Take us home, Osita.
All right. Well, speaking of a story about good people trying to get away from bad people and the awkward interactions that happen, I had my eyes set on this pretty little redheaded French girl.